of the Ethernet. Ethernet should convert the packet that received from the network layer to the frame. You know that I mentioned it before. When the network layer, okay, when from network layer we are receiving the packet, okay, in the data link layer we need to add one header and one trailer to the packet. Look at here, layer 2 trailer should be added to the packet, and then layer 2 header. This is the layer 2 header, and this is the layer 2 trailer. When you are using Ethernet in data link, this means that we are adding the Ethernet, okay, layer 2 trailer to the packet as the trailer. Let me write here. You will better understand it in this video, but let me to talk about now briefly Ethernet layer 2 trailer. After that we have the packet, and after that Ethernet layer 2 header. This means that one of the functions of the Ethernet is converting the packet to the frame. You will learn about why we need to convert the packet to frame, but this is the one of the function of the Ethernet. This is logical function of the Ethernet. Another function of the Ethernet is converting the frame to the, for example, physical current and voltage for sending on the physical link, for example, on the copper, or converting to fiber optic pulses or optic pulses to the fiber optic for sending the data. This is one of the function. This means that the first part of the function of the Ethernet is the logical function, and the second part is the physical function. You will learn about the physical function and also the logical function of the Ethernet in this video and in the next video. Because of that, don't worry about the detail. Until now, let me to review. Until now, we know that one enterprise has two parts in most cases, LAN and WAN. Okay, LAN and all of the LANs and WANs of the one enterprise can for example, create the enterprise computer networks. And you know that the goal of these networks is forwarding data or delivering data from one device to the another device. You know it, okay? After that, you know that, and now we are talking about only the LAN, not the WAN. In LAN, we had many technologies in the history, for example, token ring, FDDI, and Ethernet. But the token ring, FDDI, or other technologies are not do not available now. Because of that, we need only to talk about the Ethernet. Ethernet is working for the wired part of the LAN, because in LAN we have two parts, wired LAN and after that wireless LAN. Let me to write here. This is the for example LAN, and maybe you see the wireless LAN with WLAN. Both of them are same. It's not important. Wireless LAN or WLAN, both of them are same. For wireless LAN, for this part, we need another technology. We call it Wi-Fi or IEEE 802.11. I will talk about that, but not in this video or in the next video. We will learn about it in future videos in this course. But now I'm going to talk about the LAN, the wired part of the LAN. And the technology of the wired part of the LAN is Ethernet, okay? But let me to emphasize that in today's Ethernet working also in the WAN. Maybe this means that maybe in some cases you see a link here, we call it ELAN. You will learn about it in future. For now, it's not important. It's better to say that Ethernet in most cases is using in the LAN, not in the WAN. And after that, as I mentioned before, if you want to review the TCP/IP model, in TCP/IP model we have 5 layers: application, transport, network, data link, and physical. And you know that the Ethernet is working in physical and also data link layer. In physical layer, Ethernet has some physical function, and in data link layer, Ethernet has some a logical function. For example, converting the packet to the frame, it should add the layer 2 header, layer 2 trailer to the packet, and finally we will have a frame. Okay, now we can start to talking about the Ethernet LANs, and now you can better understand why we are emphasizing on the Ethernet LANs, because we have another type of Ethernet, we call it Ethernet WAN. The first question is that what is the Ethernet? Maybe the answer of this question require, or for example, to watching this video, next video, or another videos. Yes, it's correct. But let me to say now that the Ethernet, the term of Ethernet, refers to a family of LAN standards that together define the physical and data link layers of the world's most popular wired LAN technology. This means that all of the physical and data link layer part of the communication in one LAN can create a technology, we call it Ethernet. You will understand it. For example, we will talk about the physical technologies of the Ethernet. We will talk about the data link layer function of the Ethernet. Finally, when you learn about the function of the Ethernet in data link and in physical, you will learn what is the Ethernet. But as I mentioned before, in TCP/IP, we don't have RFC for Ethernet or request for comment for Ethernet. The TCP/IP refers to IEEE document for Ethernet, because you know that in the for example, TCP/IP, we don't need to create everything from the scratch. We can use the for example, the technologies that is created before, and only we need to refer to these technologies. The standards defined by the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineer, IEEE, okay, means Ethernet define the cabling of the Ethernet. I will talk about that physical part. The connection on the end of the cables, again physical parts. The protocol rules, the logical part, and everything else required to create an Ethernet LAN. Let me to give you one example about the Ethernet. Again, we can better understand the detail. I will talk about the Ethernet in two parts, physical and also data link function of the Ethernet. But before that, I'm going to give you some examples about the Ethernet. Before talking about the Ethernet LANs, let me to give you a brief overview about the SOHO LAN. You know that we have two types of LAN, SOHO and also enterprise LAN. You learned about it in the previous previous videos, and you know that a SOHO, or a small office, home office, is for example a small LAN or a small network that in these networks we have, for example, 3, 4, 5 computers, one switch, or for example one router to connecting to the internet. That's it. Okay, this is a small LAN. In this LAN we are using the Ethernet. Let me to give you one example. I'm going to use the packet tracer, one of the simulators that we are using in this class. Look at here. I'm going to show you one small LAN in the SOHO. You will learn about this simulator. Don't worry about that. But let me to use only 4 computers. Assume that here we have 4 computers, computer 1, computer 2. Maybe you have some laptops, or maybe you have for example server, or another devices such as the printers or other devices in your for example SOHO, and also one or more than one switch. Okay, let me to use one switch here. This is the switch of our network. The model of the switch is not important, and after that we can connect this switch to the devices. This is the cables here we have, and we can connect our switch to the, for example, server. Don't think about the detail is not important for us now. After that to this PC, after that for example to this PC, and then to the for example this PC, this laptop, and then finally to the printer. This is our small networks, and here as you can see, okay, this is obvious that we are using some cables. You will learn about these cables. These cables are the Ethernet cables. What is the Ethernet cable? You will learn about that, but we have some type of cable, for example the twisted pair cables, or maybe in some cases the fiber. This is the internal part of our networks, and this is used for the internal communication, okay? But also we need to connect to the outside of our networks, for example to the internet. And you know that for connecting to the internet we need a router. Look at here, this is the router. Let me to use one of them. This is our router, and with this router we can connect this router to the switch. And after that, okay, and after that we can connect the router to the ISP. Here is the ISP. We can connect our router to ISP, and this is our SOHO LAN. In this SOHO LAN, as you can see, we are using some Ethernet cables. This means that we are using the physical part of the Ethernet. You will learn about these cables. Also, we are using the frames of the Ethernet. You will see the frames of the Ethernet. Let me to give you one example, only one example. Don't worry about the detail. I'm not going to talk about the detail because you will learn about all of them. But I'm going to only show you one Ethernet frame. Look at here. This is only for fun. Look at here. Let me to assign one IP address to the system 192.168.1.1. 255.255.255.0 is the subnet mask, and also to this system 192.168.1.2, then 255.255.255.0. After that, let me to show you the packets here you will learn about all of these things in this course. Let me to edit only ICMP packets. Look at here, from this PC I'm going to send a traffic to this PC. I'm going to show you the Ethernet frame. Let me to use the command prompt ping command to the 192.168.1.2. Look at here, this is the ICMP packet, or the ping result packet. Look at here, if you open this packet you can see that we are using the Ethernet this is the Ethernet. Here we have the Ethernet IP and then ICMP, and here we have the Ethernet. Let me to send it. Okay, as you can see, this is the Ethernet frame that we are sending it on the networks. Look at here, Ethernet header, and this is the layer 2 header. But Ethernet has two parts, layer 2 and layer 1. This is the Ethernet header. You will learn about the detail of the Ethernet header in this class, in this video and in the next video. Ethernet header, this as you learn, I mentioned that the Ethernet should add trailer and also header to the packet. Okay, I know that maybe you don't understand all of the detail, but let me to say that these parts, preamble, SFD, destination address, source address and type, are the Ethernet header. These parts are Ethernet header, and it's so easy to understand. You will learn it. Data is the packet, and the FCS is the Ethernet trailer. This means that we added the Ethernet header and Ethernet trailer to the packet. Here you can see one small LAN. In this LAN I didn't use the AP or access point, but if you want you can use the access point for wireless communication. As you can see here, we have only the wired devices, but we can add the wireless to this LAN, and in that time we have two parts in our LAN. The first part is Ethernet and the second